So this is our Live Your Magical Life panel discussion. And I'm going to be joined here by a couple of current members of the Starlight Coven, a couple of my current clients. And we're going to talk all about their practices and real lives as witches. So the Starlight Coven is our seasonal sacred circle, which is for modern witches like you guys, who want to practice their spirituality more consistently, more confidently. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more at the very end of this panel today about everything that's included in the Starlight Coven. So just as a reminder, remember to use the chat for conversation. Remember to change the little blue drop down to everyone so that you're talking to everybody, not just me. And use the Q&A box for questions. So we're going to be talking on this panel discussion today all about what it means to live a magical life, to bring magic into your everyday, and daily practices you can explore. We're going to be talking about those topics. I have a few questions for our panelists, but we're going to be taking your questions as well throughout, not just at the end. So for the panels, we're kind of doing this a little bit more organically. So use the Q&A box for any questions that you want to ask of me and of our panelists on that kind of general topic of living a magical life. So I am so excited to be here today with 3 of our current members of the Starlight Coven. So I'm just going to go around and call on you guys in the order that you're on my screen and have you introduce yourselves to start us off. So thank you all so much for being here. Jade, let's hear from you first.
Hi. This is always the moment where I panic. My grammar will get really bad, just a heads up. My name is Jade. I have been learning from Tenae for a long while now. To my amazing benefit, I am a wedding and elopement photographer who has also just started her sort of witchy business journey. I'm also the owner of Invoke Boudoir, which is a really embodied and witchy driven boudoir photography business. So yeah, I'm based in Southern Oregon in general. I travel a lot. I just got back from Norway. And I am really excited to share all of the ways that I've been able to build my life with astrology. It's been amazing.
So good. And what are your big 3, Jade, your sun, moon, and rising?
Scorpio Sun, Virgo Moon, and Sag Rising.
So good. So good. Okay. All right. Lara, how about you?
Hi, everyone. I'm Lara Spell-Worsham, and I'm coming to you from the South, from Georgia. I am basically we'll say a coach, but I offer yoga, holistic health and wellness, Ayurveda, and particularly working with women to empower them to really find the magic in the everyday. I am a Capricorn Sun, Leo Moon, Scorpio Rising. And I have found, learning from Tenae and also the ability to apply and use what I've learned to help me plan both for my business and for my personal life has just really enhanced my ability to have rituals and magic that have a lot more meaning and input into affecting change in my life. And I really love that about it.
So good. So good. Okay, Grecia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Grecia Williamson, and I'm so excited to my time to panic you. No, I'm really excited to be here. I love this. I live in Texas right now. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm originally from Puerto Rico. I lived there. I grew up there, and I just left after finding love, California coast over there somewhere. But I'm here in Texas. Very. Can you still hear me? Is there something about the connection?
You're okay. You're cutting in and out just a tiny bit, but you're okay.
Still here. Okay, awesome. So yeah, is it working? Okay. So yeah, my background, I'm a chemical engineer. I've done a lot of project management and that's my background. Is very science oriented, and that's I learned so much in here, that science and all of this are all connected. So I'm so excited that I found that out. I was feeling like an alien a little bit over there. Yeah, I've learned so much from Tenae. I've been in different groups. It's been a very slow path for me. Now that I got here, I'm very in alignment with this. Astrology is one of my favorite topics in the world. And just a little example is like when I found out that my moon and rising was in Scorpio, that changed my life because, you know, my son was in Virgo, still in Virgo. And I was like, well, you know what? I don't align emotionally with that. It's like, then I learned everything about this. I'm like, yeah, this is me. And it feels amazing to find yourself in this path. So very happy to be here again. And yeah, excited. Thank you.
Hey, oh, this is so good. I'm like, obviously I'm familiar with all of your charts, but it did not register at all that we had like a very, very aligned group here. All the Virgo and Scorpio energy. Okay, so I would love to just kind of kick us off. So for those of you watching and in the chat, drop your questions for our group here. I love that we have such a diverse group of backgrounds and paths and locations and cool stuff. So drop your questions for everybody in the Q&A box. To kick us off, I would love to hear, and this is just for whoever manages to unmute first. What does it mean to you to live a magical life? Like, what does that mean to you, and or what does that look like in your actual practice?
Well, for me, I guess I'll go ahead and start because I did a lot of practices today. For me, it means to really live with intention. And it means that you're not going through the everyday in just dealing with mundane and not finding that magic in everything that happens, from everything from synchronicities to, some people could call them coincidences, I call them magical little nudges from the universe, to having a practice that supports me and changes with me. I do have a pretty strong morning ritual that I do, which I know a lot of people have similar things if morning rituals work for you. And for me, it means, you know, getting up and setting an intention for the day and checking in with myself and, you know, the universe as to what do I need to focus on today. I do that mainly through a card pull and journaling in the morning, and then meditating. And that seems to be like the groundedness that started my journey in magic. And that part right there kind of sets a whole framework for my day where I'm more aware to my intuition, I'm more aware to magic, and I'm more open to that happening. And combining that with me being very in tune with the moon and the seasons, I just find those ground me in a way that I really need. Even though I have a Capricorn Sun, I got that Scorpio in me, and we sometimes need to be brought back to earth and out of the ethereal. And I find that my practices help really balance actually all three of my astrological signs.
Amazing. That's really powerful, the intentionality part there. I did a deep dive with Tenae at the beginning of last year, and I found out that even though I have a major rocking Scorpio stellium, it's my power sign. That's where most of my energy comes from in terms of sign distribution. My highest element is actually Earth, thanks to my Virgo stellium, as well as a sneaky little Capricorn stellium that I was paying zero attention to. And I found that if I give myself the structure that I so desperately need, that everything else is so much more sustainable for me. And that's where the magic of astrology really has transformed my day-to-day life. Because as a business owner, I've always felt a lot of pressure to make sure that all the things are done. And with my Scorpio Sun, it was always just like shooting from the hip, like, oh, I'll make it work. And it was living so out of alignment for the rest of me that having that structure now is really great. So I actually schedule out almost 2 months in advance every day what it is I'm doing, where I'm going to be. And it's amazing because now I have this container to live within that gives me more freedom. It's like a reverse logic. But yeah, the intentionality is great. And I found that with my embracing my Capricorn energy has been helpful.
Yeah, I love that piece of like, sorry, Grace, I love that piece of how like there can be other elements of our charts that we might not even be paying attention to or even realize are there, that once we start to work with them is like, oh, actually now I feel complete. Like it feels like it filled out the puzzle.
Yeah.
I agree. I was going to say, I feel the opposite, like exactly what you were saying on the opposite side. So as a Virgo Sun, I always was extremely organized, 4.0 responsible. I did everything correct and always by rigid, like very rigid schedule. My whole life has been just extreme responsible and not deviating. So fun was never like my thing. And discovering astrology for me, I realized that I need to go and complement with what the other signs are and create that balance, but on the other side. So every time I go like and try to be a little more like a rebel and try to deviate from my plans, I feel so good. So I try to do that. And I even do like my morning routines are different. Like I try to do different ones on Mondays and Tuesdays. And that what works for me, because doing the same for me was getting like a routine that I was like a robot. Even if I was doing a ritual that was beautiful and it was just perfect, it was not really perfect because I needed to bring that spark of doing different things and being a rebel. And today, you know what, it's a Monday, so I'm going to focus on the moon and I'm going to do this. And everything just kind of aligns because I do like structure. I like it, but in a way that I can be more free and have more fun. Yeah, really helped me in that sense. And my life has changed incredibly with this, with my path in witchcraft. I was able to release a lot of those rules and accept myself how I am, instead of always being like, no, I need to be this other person. No, I can be free. So it's been great for me.
I love that. I love the kind of balance there, right? Of like, even with, three people with a lot of similarities in their charts, like astrology is expressed so differently through each of us. Like we need to embrace it for ourselves and find the practices that actually work for us. Like even a prescribed, like, oh, if you're a Scorpio, you might be into this thing, you might be into shadow work, or if you're a Virgo, you might be into rituals. Like those things are true, but we have to go so much deeper to really experiment for ourselves.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot too, because I think that, for me, realizing that, because I was always focused on just my sun sign, which is Capricorn, grounded, pretty practical too. We're organized, we're all that crone energy going. And I kept trying to rein in my Scorpio, which I didn't even really realize until working with you had such an influence on me, and where all of this magic and intention and all of this shadow work that I came into. And once letting that in, it was like, whoa, okay, now things make a lot more sense. And I do believe that, you're right, that you have to be able to change your routines. You have to be able to work with what works with you in one point in your life, may not work for you another. I find I have to change my rituals a lot seasonally. So I think that that's really important. And I love the fact that, in the way that you teach celestial alchemy, everything kind of fits together, but you can choose what fits with you as well. So again, it's not that there are no rules, it's what feels intuitively right. And I think that's really where being a witch comes into play, is really letting your intuition show you the tools that are going to help your own work come more into a way that works for you.
Yeah. Tenae, do you want me to address that question live?
Yeah, since Lara just brought up seasons as well. So Afira said in the chat, or in the Q&A, she asked, where's your accent from, Jade? And does the wheel of the year correspond with where you grew up versus where you live now? And I'd also like to expand that to everybody. It's like, how do you work with the seasons, or are they a part of your practice?
Yeah, this is actually something that I definitely wanted to touch on, because it's been one of the most powerful tools from your teachings, Tenae, is figuring out your own personal seasons. So I'm South African, and the Southern Hemisphere is so different. So our Christmas time is our summer. I hadn't ever experienced the white winter until I showed up in Oregon. And I desperately tried to eat the snow, but that didn't work for me as well as you would hope. So what I've found is, having moved out here to the States, that I feel so much more aligned with the seasons for two reasons. So my birthday is actually the Witch's New Year. It's Samhain. So the Witch's New Year, all this really wonderful happenings and all these kind of quirky Halloween situations that happen here, along with the Day of the Dead, are things that were totally, passed upon back home in South Africa. It's not that we didn't celebrate Halloween, but it wasn't so much of it didn't have that much cultural significance. So yay, Tony, we got to chat. And what I found is being able to really fall into a season that feels like me was a gift that I didn't realize until I'd properly conceptualized it. But in terms of personal seasons, this is the biggest struggle I have in my business currently, because I shoot weddings in Oregon. Like, nobody gets married indoors. Everybody wants to get married between April and October. And I'm currently going into my busiest season of the year. Family photos, senior portraits, weddings, elopements, Christmas photos, boudoir gifts, all of the things. But I'm actually currently, because of my Sagittarius Rising, I have now officially moved into my personal winter. And I am not interested in any of it. And I didn't realize what my problem was, because I would hit this point every year. Because I've been in the States now for 11 years, I would hit this point and I would just feel like a dog. I would self-judge and I would trash talk myself, like, oh, how dare you not be interested in this work that is a gift to you and is something that you love. And then I realized all it is that I'm emotionally hibernating. And now I have that tool to be able to sustain myself through my busiest season in the middle of my personal winter. So that has been, it's changed the game every year. And I'll forget about it too until the beginning of September. I'll be like, why do I feel, oh wait, I'm going into my personal winter.
What are some tools you use to kind of navigate that when you have that busy season you can't avoid, but you're not really feeling it?
Yeah, so similar to both of our other panelists, I actually really tap into my intuition. So I balance the Capricorn must get it done right now with the, oh, I need a break. So the only thing I do is give myself the grace to work when I can and to break when I can't. And that was the biggest problem before, because I was living in a lot of that Capricorn shadow, that really high performance, must do it right, always, got to do it perfect, can't mess up. I'm the only one who can do it right, so I'm going to be the one who does it, which is a lot of the shadow of Capricorn. And now I just allow myself, like this morning, I'm actually feeling good. I'm going to work today. And I managed to bust out all sorts of things. I managed to get all sorts of things done. And then on the days where I can hardly face leaving my own kitchen because all I want to do is snack, I just stay in the kitchen. But you have to listen to yourself intuitively in those moments and allow yourself the grace of being human and the circumstance that you have, right? That's really the key.
That's awesome.
I find that so true too about the personal seasons was a big thing for me. I always thought maybe it was just because I was a Capricorn and I just liked the back to school season because it was like, oh, let's start fresh again. Well, it's my personal spring. So of course I feel that way. It makes so much sense to me now. I'm more likely to start major projects and big business changes this time of the year than I am in any other time of the year. And just understanding that helps you flow your business, like you said, knowing that, okay, if I'm going to start a big project, I should launch now. I should not do it in, the middle of the summer when I am still not out of my winter yet. It's not a strong season for me, which explains, yes, it's hot here during the summer too, but it also explains why all I feel like doing in the summer is lounging and not doing anything. Everyone's like, let's go do this and that. I'm like, it's too hot. I don't want to do anything. But now it makes more sense because yeah, it's winter. I want to go more inward where everybody else is outward focusing energy. And it always seems such a mismatch for me. But I do think learning how to offset that with practices and planning with learning about when your seasons are. And for me, also going more to astrology, some big ahas for me just in the last year have been learning that when the moon is in Aries, I'm wiped out. Doesn't matter what month, every month, I start to feel tired and bad, and I look and I'm like, there it is. And so now that I know that, I don't plan big things on the days of that. In fact, I went on vacation this last time we went there. I'm like, I got it now. I'm going on vacation. We're not even messing with Aries this time. But between that and then knowing how I normally feel during my lunar return, just those two things, it doesn't mean I'm tracking every day, but it does mean when I look at the month, I'll look at the 4 phases. I'm going to look at when my lunar return is, and I'm going to look at when Aries is showing up because I know from experience that impacts me. But, before then, I just was like, what is wrong with me every month? One point during the month, I just go, and that's what it is.
That's where I am right now, Lara. And I am tracking it. Yes, I just learned this the hard way too. I was like, what is happening to me a couple of days? And I think Tenae was like, are you tracking the moon? What's going on? I'm like, okay, well, I should. It's going to be really helpful. I'm already seeing things like connecting. Very interesting. I love it. Very cool.
Okay, so I have a bunch of questions in the Q&A that they're all the same questions, so I'm just going to answer them. Is how to figure out your personal seasons. So there's lots of ways to do this. The way I teach is using your rising sign. So as the sun moves through the 12 signs of the zodiac, it activates each sign in your chart because everybody has all 12 signs, even if you don't have planets in them. And so when the sun reaches your rising sign, which is your first house, that is like your personal spring. That's when you feel energized and you feel like that fresh start energy. And it might be, you know, if you have a spring rising sign like Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, then you might feel really aligned with the seasons. But if you have like a fall rising sign, like all of us here, for example, then this is your personal spring. This is when you might feel more energized. And so, but kind of having that information of like, how is the sun activating me throughout the year? Obviously, as we've seen here, it can be so incredibly powerful. And you can do the same thing with the moon as it moves through your chart every single month. And then I think there's also a really important intuitive aspect to this, right? And a personal aspect, right? And we talked about this a little bit in some of yesterday's conversations about how, you know, we might have, like, for example, for me, right, I have like a big trauma event that happened during my rising sign season. I lost my house in a wildfire during Virgo season. I still feel really energized. I'm like, this is my personal spring, but there's also this other component. There's this emotional and intuitive element to it as well, of like, I also need to, you know, be gentle with myself this time of year. And so just having that information of both, like, what does my chart say and what have my experiences been, you know, what are the anniversaries and the important things that happen during the year? And, you know, how do I feel about the weather at each time of year? You know, what's coming up for me? What does the chart say? And what do I actually feel? And how can I bring those together is kind of the shorter answer. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Okay. Jack asks, okay, Jack says, when it comes to the 12th house, would this be a well of potential and potency to draw from when we are considering and designing magical practice? Yeah, so the 12th house, yeah, so and I think several of you have some perspective on the 12th house. So the 12th house is the final house in the zodiac, and it tends to be, it's what I consider like the transition from your personal winter to personal spring. So every year when that 12th house is activated by the sun and every month by the moon, it can be a very emotional, very sensitive time, right? It's a time where we're really going within, like we're really dipping into our subconscious. And we're also really tuning into our intuition. It's one of the most intuitive parts of the chart. And that's true whether or not you have planets there. So like for me, I don't have almost anything in my 12th house, but I do have Chiron there, which is all about like healing and shadow work. So I feel that like shadowy piece of the 12th house even more. So it is a really magical, a really intuitive place. And I do highly recommend looking to what sign and or planets do you have in the 12th house. And I work with whole signs houses, but using whatever house system you prefer, to discover, you know, how does my intuition speak through me? How can I tap into that really mystical, magical aspect of myself? Do you guys have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, my Scorpio stellium is in the 12th house. So I have Scorpio, Mars, Pluto, Mercury, and Persephone all in the 12th house. And it's a real kick in the pants every time my birthday comes around, but I love it because it's something that I've always looked forward to. And like you say, my personal association is really good. And that Scorpio superpower of being able to just transform and change and grow is, I've always been able to really harness that. So I love it. The challenge is always great.
Yeah, Libra is in my 12th house. And right now I kind of feel that strong pull for reflection and into, you know, going inward and kind of, okay, you know, I need to bring balance, really is what I feel like. It's a balancing time for me to kind of say, okay, yes, it may be my personal spring, but I also need to realize that there has to be this balance. And I kind of feel that shift right now that I'm going through. So for my practices, it's driving me to more intuitive practices. Meditation is one of the ways that I get to my intuition. And so I've been feeling more called to do that. Journaling is another way. And I just think that, again, to me, understanding this is so empowering in being able to really impact your own health and your lives. And I just really have found it to be pretty much the most important thing I've discovered. I didn't discover it, but learned in the last, you know, decade.
I have the same as you, Lara. look at us again. Yes, Libra is in my 12th house. And yes, I feel very called to understand myself better, understand what's going on in my life. Where am I at the moment? You were saying that personal spring is also coming from me. And I feel like, yes, I want to do all these things. But like, I still have that transition part that I really need to dig in. And I'm doing something super creepy that it's not journaling, but it's like journaling. I've been like using that Vox app, and I've just been talking to myself. I know, the creepiest thing, but I'm recording everything I feel, just talking, and then I listen to it. And I'm like, did I say that? So I did this morning that I was like, that's coming from me, and it's coming from a deep place that I, then later you forget. And I love coming back to that. And I know it's a little weird, but then talking to myself has been one of the most beautiful things. And it gets me emotional, because sometimes you don't want to get there and you don't want to look into those parts of yourself. But doing that has made me like do it. Like I'm actually listening to myself from the phone, obviously, to me. And it's like, I'm speaking to a deeper part of myself. And it's something really cool that I'm just exploring. But yeah, definitely.
How
Agree with
very
Lara.
Libra Pisces of you both. Like that's so embodied for both of those signs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally. No, I love that practice, Grecia. And I would love to hear with that, like, what are some of your daily practices? Like, what are or regular, the things that you do as part of your witchcraft, as part of your shadow work, whatever practices are like really foundational and important for you?
I'm doing so many things. As I'm learning, and as you know, I like to do it all, and it's almost impossible. Right now, I am on actually of all the things that I can do, but I only do the ones that feel really aligned to me. But on my daily rituals can never miss a candle. I love candle magic. It's one of the most important things for me. Even though, yeah, you say fire sign or whatever you want to say, I just love the fire, and doing the candle magic is really important for me. Helps me connect, helps me feel grounded, like during my day. So I start with that, and like a prayer, meditation. Always pull one card to help me journal or even think about the things that are going on in my life. So those things, they have to happen. So cute. Oh, it's not sleeping anymore. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the things that I do. And if I have the more time, then I just love really like going for a walk and really slowing down. So one of the things I was gonna say earlier, I forgot, is that in this path that I discover is like, it really helps me slow down. I have tons of energy. I'm always everywhere. So this brings me back to me, brings me back home, and the things that are really important in my life. So it really helps me get centered. One of the things I do is for that. Oh my gosh, he's so cute.
Thank you. He was whining in the background, so I'm like, okay, yeah. I gotta go get him. He's still a baby.
He's adorable.
Oh. So walking him in nature is definitely one of the things that is one of my practices, because I make it very mindful to pay attention. And that's how I help connect more with the seasons. I make it a habit to walk similar routes so that I can see what changes. And that, again, I feel like connects me to nature. So that is one of my practices that I do every day. I do 2 rituals most months, new moon and full moon. And those are influenced really by what sign the moon's in during those, and also how I feel. So sometimes they may be a really big close my private door, all by myself, light candles, kind of ritual. Sometimes I lead some small ones for friends. And then sometimes it's simple. It's me just going, hey, okay, today's the full moon. How do I feel about it? What is that impacting me? Other things, I sometimes refer to myself as a kitchen witch. I cook a lot of my feelings, and I like to also really get into the season in the kitchen. So I blend teas and herbs. I like to do herbal, I would call them concoctions, for lack of a better term. Potions, I guess we could call them. We can use a witchy term. But I do find that having certain things, and I know you do this too, Tenae, because you mentioned it in some of your books, but having certain things that you cook only at certain times of year or at certain, seasonal changes I find really also helps help me celebrate the season and feel more a part of it. So like for equinox, my big one is I make an autumn apple cake. And so that for me will be made in the next 24 hours. And that's going to be, hey, okay, that, and those may be overlooked by some people as rituals, but I make it a ritual because I'm honoring the apples, I'm honoring the earth. And for me, I think that's why I say it kind of varies, but there is something in every day. I just make sure that something in every day after my morning practice connects me back to that intuition and to my rituals and practices.
I love the baking idea. There's one, I'm not a kitchen. I can't don't let me into your kitchen. But once a year, I make this really amazing stew that is an intention setter for health and well-being throughout the winter. And I created my own little recipe card, and I have my bay leaves that I scratch intentions into while I'm chopping veggies, and it just is easily one of the most aligned things I do, and I look forward to it every year. But everything else for me looks vastly different. So with all of that water placement that I have, everything's very go with the flow. So the one consistent thing I can say that I practice all the time is listening to my instinct and listening to my intuition. Because for whatever reason, our bonds to that are broken or dismissed or whatever throughout our lives, especially with the way that current Western society runs. And I have found so much more inner peace when I just let myself listen. And then I usually end up agreeing with my instinct and my intuition. So I end up following through. And I find that to be so much more aligned for myself. And it is very varied, as you know. Intuition really does its own thing. And then the other couple things that I do for my business, when I'm charging my batteries and I'm clearing my SD cards and I'm looking at the weekend that I have ahead of me, I'll usually play a specific kind of music that really helps put me in a creative space where I feel confident, because I have a lot of confidence struggles. Thanks for nothing, Chiron and Leo.
Yeah, same.
I'll make sure, and that also helps me with my anxiety too. So I'll get all of my stuff prepped for shooting, and I'll make sure that my space is feeling safe for me. And that varies every time. So either it's dark or it's light, or I need to move a plant or whatever. And then the other thing that I do very consistently, the mix between water and earth. I am a total houseplant addict. My boyfriend is threatening to buy a machete so that he can reach the kitchen without touching a plant. And I'm studiously ignoring all of his threats and buying more plants. But I will go through and I'll talk to my plants and I will water them. And it's that earth-water combination that is so intrinsic in my chart, because those are my two dominant signs, earth first, or elements, earth first followed by water. Fire and air are like 15% or less of my 100% of my chart. So air signs are very foreign to me. So that's the other thing that I do when I need some grounding. I'll go to my houseplants, and I love it.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that. And I was gonna say too, I definitely, the intuition part just spoke to me, Jade. That's amazing. And I've been using that for my work. And it just has been a game changer because, well, I'm right on my engineering project manager. So I talk to many people and I feel like now I connect to them in a different way. And I trust myself that what I'm feeling is right. So I mean, I've been able to coach and help so many people just using my intuition and trusting that what I'm feeling is probably what they're feeling and helping them get that out.
Yes.
It's just have been amazing. And other little rituals that I've been using that help me on my workspace, it's candle magic. Like I was saying, I have some candles that are for creativity and they do work, and they're not special candles or anything. I just say that and I put my intention there. I light them up and I just get creative and I just move really good. And the third layer of that is actually looking at the signs that are that day, like where is the moon or the sun or whatever. That helps me also plan my projects, and it's been working like a charm. It's amazing. Like when it's in Aries, I just those days I'm just fire, so I'm just plowing through emails and doing different activities. So I've been definitely moving my weeks into aligning with those things in astrology, and it's been really good for me. I mean, I got a promotion and everything. I was like, yeah, this is working.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool.
That's so awesome. I love that we went to work. So I want to go there for a little bit because I think it's such an important part of everybody. Like we spend, more time at work than at home usually. So someone asked in the Q&A to speak on the midheaven. So the midheaven in the chart is a really interesting part of astrology that is usually marked on the chart. If you're looking at your chart, it'll be somewhere towards the top, and it's just marked by the letters MC. Which stands for medium coeli, but we usually call it the midheaven. And the midheaven represents it's your higher calling. It's like what you're here to do and contribute to society. So it can have a lot to do with work. Not always, our higher calling may not have anything to do with our career, but a lot of times it does. And so the midheaven is a really fun, really interesting part of the chart to be like, not only like there's other parts that are kind of more like our karmic, like soul purpose, right? The midheaven is really practical in a lot of ways. It's like, what are we here to do in this lifetime? Like to achieve and to receive and to create. And so we mostly look just at the sign of the midheaven in Placidus house system. It's always at the beginning of the 10th house. In whole signs houses, which is the system I work with, it can be in one of several houses. It can be anywhere from like theoretically like the 8th to I think maybe even the 12th, but at least the 11th house. But we mostly are looking just at the sign with the midheaven. And the midheaven is like archetypes are a really helpful thing with this, right? So I work a lot with archetypes in astrology, and when you can kind of embody, you can think of yourself in your working life as that archetype, right? So like for me, mine is in Taurus, which it looks like a couple of people have Taurus midheavens. And Taurus is the archetype, it's ruled by Venus, it's the archetype of the goddess. And so it's all about like pleasure and receiving and really following what feels really good in our work. And that the more we do that, the more we give that to others too. And the more we're able to receive, it's this like beautiful exchange. And so focusing on like the archetype of your midheaven can be really, really helpful, even if your work is not spiritual at all, right? So I don't know if you guys have I love those rituals, Grecia, too. If you guys have any other thoughts about bringing your spirituality into your work or working with your midheaven or anything like that.
I definitely bring my spirituality into my work. Of course, my work is becoming more and more spiritually based to begin with, but even in practices, I have, some crystals and candles that I keep at my desk and use similar. I love the way Grecia has one for creativity, and that's really a great idea to use candles that way. I might actually start doing that. I like that. But I think my midheaven is Virgo. And I think that made some sense to me at the time. If I got that right, I can't remember at the moment, and I don't have my chart. But I found, again, for me, that it was more learning to work more and let my Scorpio come out that actually made the bigger impact for me on my business. And the more that I embrace that and get away from so much of the Capricorn, order, precision, must be perfect, the better I am able to help intuitively other people, and also to work with my own schedule. So I don't know if that answers your question, but.
I can speak to the midheaven placement. So my business, I've been running my wedding and elopement business for almost, I think we're coming on 10 years now, 22. So we're going on 10 years now. And the last year and a half to 2 years, I've really been sitting with something that's very sacred and important to me, which is all of this boudoir work. My MC is in Virgo, and my title as a service provider is the boudoir priestess. I didn't,
so
like, I remember the day. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. So what I'm finding is, like, the Scorpio and the Capricorn have a pretty low tolerance for stuff. So my ideal client is a woman who's ready to help herself, but doesn't quite know how. And that's where my Virgo just steps in. I've got this. And I've been able to meet so many women where they're at and help them on this path that they are wanting to follow for more embodiment and for more confidence and for more self-actualization. And 100% of that lies in the Virgo placement. So now I know that I'm sitting on this really beautiful and sacred work that I'm letting take its time to develop. Like I just got done doing all of branding stuff, which really is beautiful, but I also, I can't do the hard sell. Like I lure you in because you know that this is where you want to be, right? So that way I know that I have clients who want what I'm offering, which is also such an earth sign thing. Like we don't really mess around. And it is.
And I feel like so much of what you've been putting out around your boudoir work is so like magnetic. Like you posted something the other day, I saw that you had like Samhain shoots available, and then the next thing I saw, they were like almost sold out, and I was like, yeah, like that's so amazing. Like you're just really connecting with people through your chart, through that energy.
Yeah, so it's been really powerful to just kind of sit back into that seat and let the MC do what it does. You know, allowing things to be what they are, I think is really important too. So part of what I do in this business, not only in the boudoir business, but just taking photos of people, is letting people be who they are and seeing them for what they are. And there is a huge, huge power in that, and something that completely lacks unless I am talking with others in the witchy community. People don't seem to have an avenue to that the way that we do, the way that we've empowered ourselves through astrology to get to know ourselves and learn our blind spots and grow and become so much more realized. It's fantastic.
Oh, this is so beautiful, Jay. You're killing me. Amazing.
Thank you.
People are saying they got chills. I got them too. So cool.
So good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have another question here, so which is for me, but I will love to hear what you guys think about this too. So Sarah says, I feel like I have PTSD from traumatic events that happened 2 years ago in the fall, which is my favorite season and birthday season. How did you go about reclaiming your season after what you went through? So this is a great question. And I think it's an ongoing, you know, like we talk a lot about cycles, right? And the seasons and the signs are cycles. And I think that certainly, you know, grief and trauma is a cycle too. It's something that we move through and we come back to. It's, you know, it's a spiral, right? And so it can be different every year. Like it's an ongoing thing. It's not really like we figure it out and we fix it and it's done, right? Like we do circle and cycle back to it. But I think that having these tools has been a huge part of it for me. So after the fire, so like I said, I had practiced years earlier. Actually, I think maybe I said that on a call earlier today with a friend, so never mind. I don't think I said that earlier. I practiced years earlier, many years ago. I've been on so many calls this week, I don't know who I've said what to. So okay. So I practiced many years ago, and I had kind of set my practice aside, and I wasn't practicing at the time that the fire happened. And it was about 6 months after the fire that I came back to my spirituality and started practicing again, and have really pretty much been consistent ever since. But I first really came back to, you know, kind of the moon and the seasons that had always been the foundation for me previously. And then I pretty quickly started to get more into astrology and learn more about my chart and all of that. And I don't know how many years after the fire, how many cycles I had gone through before I really started to understand that 12th house piece. But basically my 12th house is Leo season. And so that's like late July into late August. And then the fire happened in early September. And so I had always, for those, I think it was a couple of years, like maybe in like the third year, I started to put these pieces together. I would always get really anxious and just like really frustrated and like irritable. And I just wouldn't feel like myself. Like I would just like kind of feel like my skin was crawling for a couple of weeks, and I just didn't feel like myself. And for those couple of years, I attributed it to my trauma. And I think certainly was a contributor, you know, like, yeah, we're coming up on this really difficult anniversary. And it didn't help that there was some other factors too, but I just really contributed it to that. And then I think around maybe the 3rd year or so, I started to realize that, oh, there's this 12th house energy, and that's like really inward and really subconscious, and, you know, all these things we were talking about. And that's what's being activated for me during this time when I always feel like this. And that understanding really helped me take my power back, because I realized that like the trauma is one piece, and there's also these other things happening for me. Now, granted, you said, Sarah, that like, you know, it's your birthday season, you know, maybe it's not a similar energy for you, but I think having these tools of like, there's lots of different pieces, right? The trauma is one element of what we're experiencing, or grief, or whatever it is, right? We're also being impacted by these other cycles, by other things happening, right? Like it's also your birthday, so that might bring up, you know, certain emotions and things, good and not, right? And so there's these kind of like overlapping cycles that don't always make sense together, right? It's like, oh, for me, right, it's like, oh, it's Virgo season, it's like that back to school vibe, and I love it, and I always have. And also it's also this difficult period where I have to kind of navigate and you know, re-experience this grief. And also, you know, all these other overlapping things that are happening at the same time too. And it may shift from year to year, right? Like this year, we've had like beautiful fall weather. It's been really cool and even stormy and like foggy here, which is unusual. Usually it's really hot still this time of year. And that is a contributing factor where I'm still like dealing with the heat and dealing with getting through that. So it can shift from year to year. I don't know if this is a helpful answer, but like this has been my experience for sure, is like having the tools to understand what is going on, and, you know, being able to kind of isolate which elements are my experiences and which elements are things around me. And, you know, being able to kind of take my power back from them and be like, okay, yeah, Leo season isn't my favorite time of year, but, you know, I can choose to show up in it differently because I know how it affects me.
Mm-hmm. I think that's so true, Tenae, that looking at, I mean, you can do shadow work around maybe trying to figure out where or what's causing, you know, is it this cycle? Is it the trauma? But I've also found for me, and I actually went through a house fire too, so I understand that trauma because we were out of our house for quite some time. And I've also, you know, recently lost my mother, which was a different and very traumatic. It was unexpected, so it was very traumatic. And what I noticed this last cycle going through is that if I empower myself to take action, knowing what is coming, what is happening, and embrace it in some way with my practices, then it seemed to, I don't want to say lessen the trauma because the trauma is still there, but it seemed to put me more where I felt more in control of the experience than being controlled by the trauma. And I think that's so empowering for you to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I'm realizing that if I know it's coming, it doesn't have to be something that happens to me. It can be something, it is a part of me. It will always be, trauma will always be a part of you. But if you can embody it and embrace it and make it part of something that you are allowing to be a part of yourself moving forward, maybe that's a way to help. I know it's helped me to transmute that for you.
I have feelings about this. I think going back to allowing yourself the grace of being human will be really important. So don't resist what you feel, because that takes you longer to work through it. How very Scorpio of me to say. But you have to allow yourself to sit with that for as long as you need, because that only gives you the stamina and the power to move on from it.
I think I had to say the same thing, Jade, too. Just talking to the trauma, that's how I call it. I had to talk to it, and I don't like it, but I have to go through the pain. Yeah. Sometimes it's just raw pain and feel how I had to feel, uncomfortable. Yeah. Overcoming maybe, but at the end of that process, and like you were saying, sitting it for however long, you start to heal little by little. It takes years, it takes whatever it takes, but the important thing is not to ignore it. I feel like that's the worst thing I've ever done, is just ignore the pain, and because it's not okay. And you are honoring that event, be looking at it with raw eyes and feel, and understanding that it happened and how to accept and release. So like the whole process of kind of the shadow work, I guess, but it's embracing that pain and going through it too.
Turning us back to astrology too, the one thing that consistently blows my mind about this practice is the power we wield to change the narrative. Like, what business do I have being a boudoir photographer, helping people being seen, and my Chiron is in Leo? Only in the last 2 years have I actually been able to look at myself in a mirror. I was the woman who was held up by everybody else and didn't believe what they said, that I was worthy of love. I was that woman. And now I've come to this place, thanks to my Chiron and Leo, I've rewritten that story. So rewrite your story. Start doing stuff in the fall to add positive experiences back to your memory cache. Like, it's such, I mean, we are these dynamic and powerful beings, and you get to have fun too. And you get to sit with your trauma and talk to your trauma and, you know, breathe.
Absolutely. Oh, these are so good. These are so good. I mean, I feel like it's so true that so much of witchcraft, so much of being witches, which means something different to all of us, is about this, is about, number one, being able to see and face the things that either have happened to us that have been difficult, or the things about ourselves we don't like. And being able to change it and being able to rewrite it and being able to take our power back from it. You know, I mean, so many of our conversations this week have been about this, but I think this really like puts a really beautiful fine point on it, that like we have this power, and like everybody has this power, but not everybody chooses to access it. And like being a witch is choosing to access it in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So good. So good. Okay. So thank you all so much. I knew this was going to be such a good conversation, and like, it's been so good. So I hope you guys have been getting a lot out of this. If you have any final questions, drop them in the Q&A box. I want to move to talk about the Starlight Coven for a little bit, and then if we have any more questions, we'll come back to them. So the Starlight Coven is such a special space that I get to be in with all of you. And the Starlight Coven, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's included in it, and then I want to hear from you guys about, you know, what's been your experience and how has it supported you. So the Starlight Coven is a seasonal membership where you get daily, weekly, monthly, and seasonal resources and community and support on your spiritual practice and on helping you be consistent, right? On living your most magical life, like being able to do all these things, right? We've talked about bringing magic into your daily life in so many ways, right? Your daily rituals, your work, your shadow work, you know, working with the experiences you've had, the seasons, all of these different pieces. So the Starlight Coven includes resources to help you with all these pieces, right? To learn about your personal seasons, to learn about your chart, to learn about how the moon shows up for you every month, all kinds of good stuff, as well as like learning about all different types of magic. You know, we talked about like candle magic and shadow work and all different things. So it's really like all encompassing. So literally what's included is you get a daily text message, which is one of my favorite parts. That is just a little journal prompt or affirmation or a reminder about the full moon, things like that, to tune into your practice every day. You get a weekly email with a little mini ritual and information about the moon phase that week. You get a monthly PDF guide that has affirmations and recipes and calendars and all kinds of resources to help you connect with the season and the moon phases and the planetary transits for that month. And then we do a monthly Zoom workshop, which are meetings, not webinars like this. So everybody who wants to be can be on camera. And the workshops are on all different topics. So we've had workshops on everything from like grounding to visualization to manifestation, all different things about manifesting, to art magic, like all over the place. And you get access to the entire library of past workshops and rituals and things. And then a new one every month. Next year for 2023, we're going to be focusing a lot on like intuition and intuitive practices and rituals and like really good stuff. And then we also do a seasonal live ritual for each of the festivals in the Wheel of the Year, also on Zoom. And we also have a seasonal magazine. So we have this beautiful digital magazine. You can also buy a print copy. Oh, Grecia's got hers right there. So perfect. So it comes out once a season. It has articles and horoscopes and like all kinds of great stuff. It's really, really beautiful and fun. And then we also have a private Facebook group. So you get tons of resources, this huge library, and really awesome community. And we're offering a bundle that you can get your all access pass. So you get lifetime access to all the replays of everything this week in the summit, all the videos, all the panels, all the lectures, all the slides from them. You get to keep all of those, and you get over $1,000 in bonuses from all the speakers. You online courses from me, meditations, workbooks, classes, all kinds of things from the speakers. And you get your first season of membership in the Starlight Coven, which basically means you get membership in the Starlight Coven for the rest of this year for $247. So it's a really great deal. And I'm very, very excited to be offering it. Of course, you can also still purchase an all access pass on its own, but I encourage you to check out the bundle. So I would love to hear from you guys, from our panelists, just a little bit about, what has the Starlight Coven meant to you? How has it helped you? What's your favorite part? Things like that.
Well, for me, it's giving me a community where I can really feel seen as who I am as a witch, supported. You are so supportive of all of our questions, and the materials have really caused all of my practices to really blossom. And I have to tell you, I was shocked and amazed at how much content is in the Coven portal. I mean, it's enough to overwhelm you at first, I will say that, but you give us a nice little map on where to start, and that really works well. But it was probably within the first 3 weeks of being in the Coven that I had the aha of, oh my gosh, this does make sense. And your way to explain it is invaluable. I cannot recommend it enough. I have just gotten so much out of the Coven membership, and I love it.
Thank you.
Jade, I was waiting to see if you were gonna go, or me. I'll go. It's been transforming. Again, I've been looking so desperately for the last 3 years for not only community is very important, but for knowledge, understanding my path, understanding things in a better way. There's a lot of information out there, and you don't always resonate with everything. But since I started in this group, I just feel that I've learned so much, and I've been connecting very deeply with my practice. And it's not only learning, no, I'm learning and applying. And Tenae, you're awesome because you're always there for me. Like, you're always there for answer questions. You don't miss anything. So that's amazing, the care that you take in this group. And yeah, your work it's just truly amazing and motivational. So yeah, I just love that connection with other people as amazing as these two women here, Jade too. Everyone is just the kindness, and everyone wants to help. But I love to learn, and I just keep watching all the videos, and I've been here for a while, and I'm still looking at videos. Like, it's so much, and it's all amazing. So definitely you'll have your tools that you need to enhance your practice, feel confident, free, and just go into the witch you are, tackle the world. Let's do it.
Yeah, I can back that up too. Tenae, the safe space that you host for people is unparalleled. I have never, nothing can compare to the space that you hold for your Starlight Coven students and any other service that you offer. The thing that really has made the difference for me is just this really quiet sense of self-confidence and grounding, because I don't know, critical thinking isn't a thing that we teach for whatever reason. You don't grow up learning about yourself and in ways that are not prescribed, right? So like, if you read Cosmo magazine, you have your astrology prescription, and good luck if anything else good is going to happen to you, because according to them, it won't. But now you get this literal map of your character that you get to dissect and understand. And I've never felt so more fully myself. And I only just turned 30. Like, I've just been wandering around the world as a ghost of myself until the last 2 years. And that is, I don't have words to describe the value behind that. Just being able to see who you are in such an objective and unjudgmental way. That's wild. It's incredible. And I would never have been able to do it without Tenae and all of my extra little Capricorn and Scorpio deep dives that we've done.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so great to hear these. And Jade is like an old school Starlight Coven member. She's like a founding member from way back, like 2019. So she's seen all the iterations. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And which is why the portal for Coven members has so much in it, because I've been doing this for over 3 years now. So thank you guys so much. This is so fabulous to hear all these things. Yeah, we have one last question. And if there's any final one, this is your last chance. So we have one final question here, which is a great question. Oh, no, I lost it. Here we go. Okay, so Jen says, I'm planning to start a morning ritual to include more magical experiences. Could you guys speak to what that looks like for each of you? So just what is your morning ritual? How do you start your day?
I'll go first because I don't really have a set thing. Aside from actively caring for myself in ways that I never did before. So I'll make sure that I wash my face, I brush my teeth, and I drink that first glass of water. And that in and of itself has been absolutely transformative for me. And I do it almost like a gift, because previous to these last couple of years, I didn't think that I was worthy of really caring for. Like I went around the world looking like Einstein. I didn't know I couldn't properly describe the way that I looked. I didn't eat well. Like none of these things were things for me. And just that one small change has empowered such a positive outlook on my day, because from the very first thing that I do, I like crawl out of bed and I go straight to get some water. I'm nourishing myself, which is a way to nourish your spirit as well. So that's been the number one thing that's transformed for me. And then it changes. Like sometimes I'll do a card pull if my instincts are like, we're trying to tell you something. Sometimes I'll take a walk if I feel like the indoors are just too heavy. Again, just listening to my intuition.
I love it. Well, I spoke about this a little bit before, and I'm just going to give you like the quick summary of my morning. I love to wake up and not look at my phone. That changed my life. I recommend it. And then I go straight to the kitchen too and grab some water, put
No. Yeah. Shoot, we made it almost all the way to the end. Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, Lara, do you want to share, and then hopefully Grecia will be able to pop back on.
Hopefully she'll be able to come back. My morning ritual starts similar to theirs. I don't get on my phone until after I've done my morning ritual, which includes washing my face, taking care of myself, getting some water. And then I take my water into a space that I have where I light a candle, do a card pull, do some journaling and meditating. On days that I can't get all that in, then I at least light the candle and say something I'm grateful for, so that I at least have some grounding with intuition and a practice like that. And I find either one of those really helps start my day, but that's my main go-to every morning.
I love a gratitude practice. Love that. Yum, yum, yum.
Yeah, it's an important part of mine too. So my morning ritual is similar. I use it's funny because I use my alarm clock on my phone. So my phone is next to the bed, which maybe there will come a point where I will finally manage to stop doing that. But I do have an app on my phone that like you can block certain apps in certain times. So theoretically, and like I can turn it off if I really need to, but usually I really let it run out, is before 8:30, I think it is, my social media and a couple of other things are blocked. I leave my email up because I like to kind of scroll through that after I've done my rituals, but I'll block like Instagram and Facebook and things like that. So I have like a half, don't look at my phone. And that, yeah, it's really helpful, the blocking apps. The one I use is just called it's literally called like block apps or something like that. It's really simple. And then, so I have, I get up and I, brush my teeth, all that good stuff. And then I go get a cup of tea is like the first thing. So I go and I turn the kettle on. I choose usually like a seasonal tea. So right now I've been drinking, it's like black tea with apple and spices in it. And then in the spring, I'll drink like something with lavender or whatever. So like something seasonal, make a cup of tea. And then I go back upstairs and sit on my bed. And I have one little notebook, one little grimoire that I use just for basically morning rituals. And I write down what phase and sign the moon is in and what house that is in my chart, which I used to kind of like write out like what that meant. Now it's just like so second nature. I can just write it and kind of know what that means for me. And then I pull one oracle card and I do just a tiny bit of journaling, just like a paragraph about the card. And then I write down 5 things I'm grateful for. And then I have like kind of a little bit of a mini bullet journal system where at the beginning of each month, I do 2 pages where I just write out all the days of the month. And one is for like movement and exercise, and one is for my oracle card reading. So then I flip back to that and I write down what card I pulled for that day. And that's really helpful to be able to have like a little mini overview for the month of all the cards that I pulled. I don't usually include like, you know, larger card spreads I might do for like the full moon, you know, it's just my daily, but, and it's not really daily, right? You know, it's like every few days, but it's really helpful to be able to start to see patterns and themes. And also when I pull a card that like I haven't pulled in a long time, to flip back and be like, when was the last time I pulled this card, right? Like what was going on then? You can really start to see patterns that way. So that's been a huge thing. I've been doing that for a few years. And then that's pretty much it. I just like, you know, maybe I'll light some candles before I do my journaling. Drink my tea. I can't read and talk at the same time. Drink my tea. And yeah, you know, just, and then I'll kind of scroll through my phone, you know, check emails and things like that, sit on the bed. And my bedroom window kind of overlooks like a really pretty field behind our house. So I'll just kind of, you know, sit there, notice like what's going on in the trees and the season for the day. You know, it's really, really simple and grounding, but you know, it only takes me like 5 or 10 minutes most days for at least for like the journaling and card portion. And yeah, it is funny. You do just feel so much more like the day has officially started when you do those things. Okay, well, I think, okay. Oh yes. Rachel asked, anyone have any resources on where to find gratitude ideas? I feel I always say that I'm grateful for the same few things, but I do know there's so much more. Yeah. So as Jade said, there's some great gratitude journals. There's one called, I think it's 52 lists for gratitude or something like that. That's like a weekly gratitude prompt. My theory, my like little method is I try to write down, because I do usually like 5 things. So I'll write down like 1 or 2 things I'm grateful for right now in the moment, like my cup of tea or the weather today or something like that. I'll write down 1 or 2 things that I'm grateful for, like, you know, kind of going on in my life right now. Like, you know, I'm grateful for my partner. I'm grateful for our house, whatever. And then I'll do, oh no, Grecia, we lost you. And then I'll do usually like one thing that I'm grateful for that hasn't happened yet, something I'm calling in. So I do like a little mini manifesting of like, oh, I'm grateful for this client who signed up, or I'm grateful for, you know, this money that's coming in, or I'm grateful for, you know, maybe something that I know is happening. Like I'm grateful for this trip we're going to take, but often it's like a manifesting thing of like, I'm grateful for these things that I know are coming to me. So really, really simple. Well, thank you guys so much. This was such a good conversation. I absolutely love it. Thank you, 2 of you and Grecia, who we lost, for being here. I'm so glad you guys loved this session. I knew this was gonna be such a great conversation. So